Just a real quick intro to the video, guys. If you want more in-depth videos like this, head to my Patreon. I'm uploading this video on YouTube, but this type of content is getting posted weekly on my Patreon. So if you guys want weekly videos like this, like at least one video a week, head over to my Patreon. I'm gonna put the link into the description. I'll occasionally post videos like these on my YouTube, but if you guys really want videos like this every single week, like all the knowledge that I have, you know, head over to my Patreon, and then yeah, subscribe to that if you guys are down. Thank you guys for watching the video, and hope you guys enjoy. Peace. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my Patreon. Today I have a very special video. This is one of my favorite videos I've done, and it's really a topic that I feel like hasn't been covered by too many people, and it's a topic on range in MMA, range in boxing, range in kickboxing, range in all different types of sports, and what the difference is in each sport, and how you need to understand it, and kind of how in MMA the range is one of the hardest things to figure out sometimes. Okay, so I got my brother Cairo here today. He's going to be helping me demonstrate, but real quick I'm just going to kind of give an overview on range, right? So if me and Cairo are here in our stance, right, one of the most important things for me to understand is how far away from him I am. If I'm this far away and I think I can throw a jab and I throw it like that and I miss, I'm going to get hit. If I think I can throw my cross and I miss, you see how exposed I am? I have to know my range. So I have to know that first I need to throw a jab to step in, boom, and then now from here, once my jab lands, then I can land my cross, right? I'm going to break down the 3 different types of overall range, right? There's close range, right? Boxing range, right? Range where you can knee to the head, right? I can't knee somebody to the head if I'm this far away. I can't elbow somebody if I'm this far away. I can't punch somebody if I'm this far away if I have long arms. So when I think about close range, I think about, where I can throw body shots, where I can, throw uppercuts, things like that. And then there's also clinch range, I would say, because, in close range, you can't throw elbows, but there's one more range, which is clinch range, where you can get in closer with your elbows. But there's close range, boxing range, where usually the shorter person is trying to bring the fight. Then there's mid-range, right, where I can still throw things like, I can still land things like my jab, but I can also land my kicks, my teeps, but I can hit him and he can still hit me. So we're in this this kind of mid area where I'm not outside of his range, but I'm also not super in close. This is usually where the fight is mostly even, whether you're shorter or taller. And then, a lot of the times the taller person actually can have the advantage if they know how to use it. But, if the shorter person knows what they're doing, it can be pretty even. Then there's long range, where we're both outside of our attacks, right? So this could be considered kicking range, but at the same time, technically, I have to still step into my kick, right? But I'm way outside of my punches. There's no way I can hit him with any of my attacks unless I step closer. That's long range, okay? So what I'm going to be talking about is kind of how the ranges kind of mix, and how in MMA, it's one of the hardest things to understand is what type of range you're fighting at, right? And I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to start with boxing range. In boxing range, it's a lot easier to tell what range the people are at because of the footwork and because of the fact that there's no kicks, there's no takedowns, and people don't move around as much, right? So if we're boxing, a lot of times you'll see boxers step in a range like this. Me and Cairo are out in this open range, or this long range, okay? If I'm doing kind of a slow boxing movement, I'm slowly stepping in. Now we're in mid-range. You guys see that? You see how obvious that was? It was slow. So if we're boxing, I know he can only punch me, so I'm kind of inching my way in like this. Now we both know I'm in mid-range. Then maybe if I want to get closer, now I'm here. Now I'm in close range. You guys see how the footwork makes it easy for him to tell what range I'm in? So if I'm out here and I'm stepping in nice and slow, he can tell what range I'm coming into, right? But if we're out here and I step in like this, it's a lot harder for him to tell where I am. He doesn't know if I'm going to stop here or here until I stop, right? Footwork plus range equals, footwork and range are the hardest things to, kind of decipher and understand what's going on. In boxing, there's lots of different ways to move your feet. Some people are, lighter on their feet. Some people are stationary, but it's less in and out, moving around like this, more like what you see in MMA. Boxing range is usually just stepping. Usually we're stepping. So if I'm stepping, he can easily tell when I'm stepping into mid and close range, right? Same thing with Muay Thai. In Muay Thai, it's even more obvious. In Muay Thai, we're marching right here. Look, and if I'm stepping in here, he can tell I'm stepping into mid-range. If I'm out here and I'm doing that, and I have the Muay Thai march, you guys see this? You see how obvious it is for him to tell when I'm stepping in? That allows for him to time something. So, Kyle, as I'm stepping in, when I come close to you, when you feel like you can jab me, throw the jab. So I'm stepping in, I'm coming close, boom. He jabs me when he feels like I'm in that mid-range where he can land his jab, right? But if I'm right here, and then I'm moving around a lot, and then, you see that? It's a lot harder for him to tell when I'm stepping in, when I'm closing the range. So the whole point of this video on how range in MMA is so much different because of how the footwork is so much different. You have guys where they're hopping on their feet. You have guys where they're just rushing forward. You have guys where they're circling on the outside because of the fact that there's grappling and kicks involved, right? If I'm a striker, some coaches will tell the striker, you got to move your feet a lot. You got to throw something and then move. Throw something and then move. You guys see how erratic that is? That means that it's a lot harder for him to tell when I'm going to step into close range. If I'm just always one note with my footwork and then I step in, he's going to know when he can hit me. But if I'm all over the place, maybe I'm coming this way, maybe I'm feigning a takedown, and then you guys see that? It's a lot harder for him to tell when I'm closing the distance. So I just kind of wanted to go over, in MMA, if you're an MMA fighter, how to kind of slow things down and to understand where your opponent is and how far they are away from you. Because if your opponent's all erratic, and maybe the range is mid-range because I'm trying to land calf kicks, and I'm trying to land low kicks and pop my jab out. Maybe the fight is long range because I'm trying to avoid the takedown and I'm trying to just kind of scout out my opponent. Maybe the fight is close range because I'm either trying to take him down or I'm trying to box with him or I'm trying to elbow him. It's all over the place in MMA because there's so many different things to do. So if you're an MMA fighter and you're having trouble telling where you guys are during the fight, this is what you guys should do. Your jab. Your jab is your best tool to measure distance. So if I'm coaching Cairo and somebody's moving all over the place, I'm going to tell him to keep popping his jab out there. Just keep pumping it out. Because no matter what, just keep pumping your jab out there. If I come in, I'm going to get jabbed. So this is my advice to you. If you guys notice that, sometimes you'll have guys in the UFC like Michael Venom Page. He's like this. You can't tell what range he's at. And then he's blitzing in. He's hopping on his feet. He's moving. He's hopping on his feet, and then he's closing the distance. It's very hard to tell what range you're at with somebody like that. In order to be able to nullify something like that, you need a consistent weapon out there to threaten something. So if I'm you can step to the side for a second. If I'm going with somebody who's hard to tell which range they're coming in and out of, I'm gonna constantly throw my jab out there. Maybe they're trying to shoot a takedown. And then I see it, and then I throw my jab out. You guys see how I can step back and throw my jab? Or if they're trying to close the boxing range, boom, they get stuck with the jab as they're coming in. Okay. Also, too, there's always long range weapons like inside low kick, teep, lead leg high kick. But personally, my advice would be to always have your jab pumping. You don't want to always do this every single second in a fight. People are gonna come on, people are going to catch on to that. But if you're in a fight, you're like, dang, where is this guy? How far are we? Measure with your jab. And from here, I don't have to worry about so much. If I'm stepping in and I'm measuring my jab, you guys see how there's something in his face and I can step in a little bit closer. Also, too, the jab will kind of distract him from how close my feet are getting. Right? So it can work both ways. So my advice to anybody who's in MMA and you aren't really aware of the distance is to throw your jab out there. And popping a jab out there like that is going to help you become more aware of distance. Last thing I'm going to kind of talk about, I don't want this video to be too long, is just how to understand how far away you are. If I don't understand how far away I am and I overextend, I'm going to get clipped. Okay, you see plenty of examples like that. People throw something, they get off balance, boom, they get clipped. Okay, if I'm too far away and I kick and I miss, boom, now I'm exposed. Okay, I need to be aware of where I'm at. So all my beginners and even my intermediate, and if you're advanced, you should understand this. But my beginner, my intermediate people, you need to understand how far you are away first. When I start a fight, I'm not thinking right overhand. That's not the first thing I'm going to do. Okay. When I start a fight, how far away am I? What's the range going to be like? I could have a game plan for this dude to be like a long range fighter, and then we start the fight, and then he's in my face like this. I need to be aware of where the fight is taking place first. Again, MMA is all over the place. It's so fast paced. MMA is the most fast paced sport in the world. Literally, there's no sport more fast paced than MMA. The fight could be slower, but that's pretty rare, especially when you're talking about lower level fighters. It can just be a brawl right off the bat. So, when I'm starting the fight, I got to know my range. We start the fight. Maybe I want to be in this mid-range so I can get my low kicks going, my body kicks going. But maybe the fight isn't going to take place where I want it to. I might want to be out at long range, but maybe he's pressing forward. Or maybe we both want to. This is usually where the pace slows down, is where both people are in this long range. And they're not really throwing too much. They're just kind of waiting here. Maybe they're throwing some kicks or something. So you have to be aware, first off, when you're sparring somebody, when you're fighting somebody, what the range is. Just, something to keep in mind. If you guys ever want to just test out how far you are, just stick your arm straight off like this. I know I'm in long range because I can't punch or kick them. I step in here. I know I'm in mid-range because all I have to do is just kind of take a slight step forward and I can land my jab. Kyra has longer arms, so reach your arms out. Or actually, no, maybe I do. He's taller than me. But, our arms are about the same length. If he was taller and longer, he could reach his arm out and touch me without having to move forward. But from here, I know I can land my kick without having to move my feet forward. And then, boom, if I step in here, now I'm in close range because my jab is touching his chin without me moving anywhere. Okay? So this is a great way to test out your range. You have to start with your range. If you don't know your range, you're not going to know how to approach the fight. So this is just, something to remind all of my people. It doesn't even matter if you're advanced, but I think if you're an advanced fighter, you should understand this. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll have more videos about this. I'm actually going to post this to my YouTube video as well because I think this is a really interesting topic. But the whole idea behind the whole video is that in MMA, it's not just one range. Muay Thai, it's right here, boom, this mid-range. Boxing, a lot of the time, is close range. It's very easy to tell in those sports when people are changing ranges and they're stepping in because the footwork is a lot slower. In MMA, the range is all over the place. I'm here, now I'm shooting into my takedown. You know what I mean? I'm going back and forth, back and forth. The range is so erratic. You just have to know how to slow it down. In order to slow it down, pop your jab out there. Level changing as well. Level change will help. As long as you're not like level changing into like a teep or a knee or something. But if we're out here, I'm popping my jab and I'm level changing, kind of keep him back. Okay, I understand, I can get closer now. Or maybe I can move back now. But keeping a probe out there, or something also like a teep as well. If they're worried about the teep, you can kind of keep their distance. And then from here, you can kind of figure out where your opponent wants to get the range in. If you guys have any fights coming up, or you have like a sparring session coming up, think about where your opponent wants to take the range. Do they want it mid-range? Do they want a long range? Do they want a short range? Or do they want a mix of it? Because in MMA, a lot of UFC fighters don't even think about what range they want it in. They just go in there and they just fight. You know what I mean? But if you want to be a high-level fighter, you have to understand this. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the video, or watching the video. Cairo, thank you. Cairo, he's fighting this weekend, so hope, everybody wish a good luck to him through the screen. But yeah, thank you guys. Love you guys. Thanks for everything. Peace.